Hello, everyone. My name is Tidjani Dia, and I'll be doing the live blogging with Wagtail Live Talk. So the summary of the talk I'm going to give is I will first introduce myself, then I will explain a little bit about the GSOC experience I had last year with Wagtail Live, and I will then present Wagtail Live and make a live demo that Kelvin was mentioning earlier, and then I will explore some of the ideas we have for the future of Wagtail Live. So my name is Amadou Tidjani Dia. I come from Senegal, and I have a bachelor in mathematics from the University of Lille in France. That's where I did my university studies. And currently, I'm working remotely as a junior developer at Toshbox, which is a digital agency based in the UK, but they also have branches in US and Asia. So yes, that's me. So yes, why GSOC? So basically I have I have a bachelor in mathematics, so I haven't learned web development in itself. So yes, the way I started to learn it is yes, on a Sunday, on the spur of the moment, I just say, oh, let me just try and see how is it. So because I always liked the idea of building websites since I was younger, and I had an algorithm and data structures course in university that I loved a lot. So yeah, that was all of that made me consider, oh, why don't I try to learn it? So I've started by learning Django, building small projects, following CS50 course. And the more I was learning, the more I was saying, oh, this is, yeah, it looks a little bit to mathematics like, yeah, there are many things, you have many challenges to solve. And that was very exciting. So and after some months of learning the basics, I wanted to go beyond that and have maybe real world experience, see how what I was learning would be applied in the real world. And then I wanted to participate to the Google Summer of Code program. So what is Google Summer of Code? The Google Summer of Code is a global program focused on bringing new contributors into open source software development. So yeah, open source organizations have submit applications where they present some projects they would like students to work on, and then when the application is approved, students can now explore the ideas proposed by the organization and choose one from that they will work on generally during the summer. And yes, so G and historically, GSOC was only for students, but this year the format has changed, and now they are welcoming any new open source contributor, whether you are a student or not. So yes, that's what is GSOC. So now the thing is, yes, when you do that, you have to choose an organization that you want to work with. So as I was learning Django, so naturally I wanted to use Django. And before that, I also wanted to build a blog where I would document my learning journey. So I tried to do that with Django. But yes, when I was doing that, I had some obstacles, if I can say so. And mostly, the one that was more obvious was managing code blocks, like when you want to include code snippets inside the blog article. It was not very, easy to do so with Django. So yes, Django is a great software. Yeah, the admin interface is very useful for managing maybe models, administrating the website. However, it is not a CMS. Maybe it is not designed. It is not designed to manage content. And yes, it makes sense to that. So that's why I wanted to choose something else. So and then why did I Wagtail, which is a CMS. So before, when I was doing research to build a live blog with a blog, a blog with Wagtail with Django, I would always say that Wagtail was very well ranked, always on the top 3, if not in the top 1 in Python CMS rankings. So yes, I would say I decided to give it a try. So I started building a little blog with it. So yeah, I discovered the stream field, and yes, it gave me, a very, great flexibility on managing content. You can mix many type of things. I hope that I will have the chance to show you how Streamfield works. And yes, I also found external packages that would greatly simplify handling code blocks. And yes, that's why I loved using Wagtail first as a user, and then yes, considering how it was to use Wagtail being as a developer or being an editor and having a good ecosystem around it, I said in myself, yes, why don't I try to work on this? So I started making small contribution. So with the help of the Wagtail community itself, which is a very nice one, a very living, people are very welcoming there. So yes, and it was very nice. I also liked a lot the open source world, like the idea of bringing uh, great software quality free for to people to use. So yes, I really like that. And so, yes, and the way GSOC works is that organization will propose a list of ideas, and they will give some details about what they want to do, how they want to achieve it, and maybe what level of complexity will it involve, and then we choose which one we want to work on. So that's how I choose Wagtail Live. So the that's what I choose Wagtail Live. So before talking about Wagtail Live, I will just take a little moment to talk about my personal experience about GSOC. So yes, in one word, I would say it was amazing. So it was a very rewarding experience. It helped me learn a lot of new stuff, like Django and Wagtail internals, asynchronous programming, the WebSocket protocol, testing, more using PyTest and all packaging and releasing software, continuous integration with GitHub Actions, and also it was really I'd learned a lot during the GSOC the last year. So, and when you are chosen to work on a project, you have some mentors from the open source organization that will help you, yes, that will mentor you during the duration of the project. So I had wonderful programmers as mentored, but also they are very nice human beings. So all of that were, yes, it was really a very cool experience doing the GSOC. And so, yes, so the project I choose to work on during the GSOC program was named Wagtail Live. So the initial idea was from Kern and Tom, who were actually my mentors for the program, and they made an initial a proof of concept, so that they would show what they mean by Wagtail Live. So yes, Wagtail Live is an open source project which builds upon Wagtail to help people craft live blog easily. So what is a live blog? You may certainly have already seen an example of live blogs. A live blog is a blog that provides real-time updates on an ongoing event. So for example, here we can see a live blog from CNN that shows the Russia invasion in Ukraine, which gives live updates. So here we can see that yes, we have 5 new updates that we can see here. So yes, 15 minutes ago we had this. So yes, most live blog have this format where we want to deliver information. The posts are not very long, so there are timestamps, they have a title. Sometimes they can include images, or yes, images, or maybe link to YouTube videos. So this is the format of most live blogs. And yes, so yes, considering this format where it allows you to give real-time update on something, an ongoing event, the format of live blogging is very popular among journalists. So yes, the most use cases of live blogging involve some kind of reporting, maybe a new yes, for example, there are live blogs for when Apple presents a new product. We can have live blog about that. We can have live blog about a soccer match, any sport match, about elections. So there are many use case of live blogs, but most of them involve some kind of reporting. So yes, so now when I will talk about Wagtail Lab, I will often talk about these concepts, which are input source, live page, publisher, and receivers. So what do they relate to? What do they mean? So first, the importers. So yes, as we said earlier, most use case of a live blog involves some kind of reporting. So to make Wagtail Live user friendly, the idea of my mentors was to allow people to post to their live blog from from a messaging app. So this will reduce the setup and the learning curve to try to start using it, but also use cutting edge features that are already proposed by most messaging apps APIs like Slack, Telegram, or Facebook. So in that logic, the main way to publish a post to a live blog using Wagtail Live is to use a messaging app. So you may use Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp or any other messaging app that you like. You can use it to post messages, and that's what will be. We will go over the steps. But yes, first there is this idea of having an import source. So yes, and the idea why we also choose using a messaging app is that we imagine that a reporter can be on the field and just use their mobile phone to give updates, and that will not involve much hassle. But I would also point that we can also use the Wagtail editor interface as an input source, and I will also show you how that can happen. So after the input source, we have receivers. So what are receivers? Receivers, there are a bridge between a messaging app like the input source and our live blog. So any message that we post in an input source will be processed by its corresponding receiver. Like yes, a receiver, every input source has its corresponding receiver, and the receiver knows how to extract relevant information from an update received. So yes, and under the hood, most receivers use the webhook technique. So we provide an endpoint to a messaging app, and whenever an event we specify, and by an event we specify, I mean, for example, when we post a message, or when we edit a message, or when we delete a message, the messaging app sends a post request to that endpoint. So yes, so for example, when you post a message in a Slack channel, we will receive a payload that contains all information relevant to the message posted, and we will have a Slack receiver that will process that message and will extract who posted it, when was it posted, what is the contents, are there any links, are there any images, how should we treat all of that. So that is the goal of the receivers. And after the receivers, once the receivers have done their work, so live posts will live in a live page. So this is maybe our data model. If you are maybe familiar with Django, Django has a concept of model, and Wagtail has a concept of page in a tree structure. So yes, the live post lives in such a page. So, and a live page is kind of mapping, it maps to a channel in an input source. So when a message input posted in a messaging app, a receiver processes the message, and the message is saved on a live page. And the fourth part is publishers. So while receivers connect a channel in a messaging app to a live page, publishers make the connection between a live page and web clients who are watching our blog in live. The goal is to publish new posts to the client as soon as it's saved. So we received it, the receiver has processed it, has processed the message has been saved in the live page, and then now the last step is to show those posts to the users who are seeing the blog in live. So to achieve the task, publishers take leverage of different techniques. So mostly they use the WebSocket technique, but we also have polling publishers which use long polling and interval polling. And yes, that's mostly how it works. So to sum up, how does Wagtail Live work? So now that we are more familiar with the concept, we can describe the machinery as follows. So a user or a reporter will post a message in a channel, like in the input source JSON. Here, input source, we mean maybe Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp, or maybe even the Wagtail admin interface. And when the message is posted, an update is sent to the corresponding receiver, generally via webhook, and which process the message and extracts relevant information from it, so that the message is saved in the corresponding live pages. Earlier, I mentioned that a live page maps to a channel. So, excuse me. each channel maps to a live page. So when a message is posted in the channel, it's also processed and saved in the corresponding live page. And then lastly, an update is sent to the web client by a publisher as soon as possible. Excuse me.
Tidjani, you're muted.
Excuse me.
Okay, you're back now.
Oh, okay. So now the next step that I hope will be the most exciting one is we will make a demo of Wagtail Live, how that works. So I will continue to share. Yes, so this is the homepage of the Wagtail Live project in GitHub. So yes, we have here our documentation. So we have tried to provide a very good documentation, yes, giving a thorough overview of what we are proposing, document every method in the API and everything. So we expect that if you want to build a live blog with Wagtail Live, you will just head to this tutorial. And yes, now what I will do is, yes, I will not maybe follow all the steps, but I have a local project where I have all this set up, and I will look here and we will check that we have everything that is needed to run our live blog. So yes, the first thing is to install and run Wagtail Live. So yes, we need to create a virtual environment, install Wagtail, then install Wagtail Live, and then this will generate our set. This is similar to Django create project. So this is just a command line to start a new Wagtail project. And yeah, so inside our website, we will have many applications. So we will create a new application named Live Blog, which will yes contain our live blog. And then yes, these are Django specific things. So yes, so if you want, yes, we need to add Wagtail Live, and the app we just created in our install app in our settings file. So here, this is yes. So here I can see Wagtail Live PVC, the settings here. This is our base settings file. So we have added the live blog application and the Wagtail Live application. And then the next step is we can create the live page model that I mentioned earlier, which is yes, where the live posts live in themselves. So yes, so the Wagtail Live provides a live page mixin, which has all the functionality needed to to bring real-time capability to a Wagtail page, if I can say so. So here we can ensure in our models. So here is our live blog application. So here in the models, we can see that we can have here is our live blog page. So yes, I have essentially added a hero image, some hero text. This is just for styling purposes. But yes, otherwise here we have the live page mixing panels. So the panels are I will show you in the Wagtail admin how this maps, what this relates to. Once we have our live blog page model, we have to specify also in our settings the path to the model with like this. So in our we'll also go in our settings. Yes, I'm having trouble with in our settings here. So here we can see I have added the path to the model we just created here, which is the value of the Wagtail Live page model setting. And then we will.
I think we're seeing your editor. If you're showing an editor.
You are not seeing it.
We're just seeing the browser still.
Oh.
Meaning
are you seeing it? Okay.
Just seeing the browser.
Okay. Okay. Are you seeing it now? All right.
Much better now.
Sorry. So yes. So okay. So I was just mentioning here our models. So this is the live blog page. that inherits from live page mixing and page. And yes, I have added hero image, hero text for styling. And yes, this is essentially what is described here. So are you seeing the browser too?
Yes, it was good.
Okay,
It was good.
cool. All right. So yes, we need to also add a template, which, for each page we will use the corresponding template, and in that template we need to include this bit of template from Wagtail Live. So here, if I go in my templates folder inside LiveBlog by HTML, so we can see exactly here we are including the line specified. So the next thing is to configure. We want to configure a publisher, and then we will have to configure an input source. So Wagtail, as I said earlier, Wagtail Live has different type of publishers. We have polling publishers, but we also have publishers that use the WebSocket technique. So for example, we have long polling, interval polling, and yes, these are all WebSocket publishers, but they use different maybe libraries or different setups. For example, Django channels is maybe the classic way to add WebSocket functionality to a Django project. So this is provided. And we also have PySocket, which is an external service which will handle everything. So when we want to have an update, we send it to the maybe to PySocket's API, and PySocket will handle delivering it to the client. But we can also use WebSocket's libraries like WebSocket or Starlet or Tornado. Every library, every framework that allows using WebSocket can be used to configure publisher. For this tutorial, for this demo, I will just use long polling since it's easier to set up. So yes. And yes, the steps to follow to set up a long polling publisher. So for the first thing, we have to specify the path to the publisher we'll use. So we will say Wagtail Live publishers polling, long polling publisher. So here in our settings here in base, we can see here that line Wagtail Live publisher is polling, long polling publisher. And we can optionally set a polling timeout. So with the default value is 60 seconds, but for this, we will just leave it as is. And then we need to hook the polling, maybe the JavaScript that the polling will use by including this bit of code. So we can, in my template here, I will open it here. So we can see here that we are including the template here. So we also need to add the URLs from Wagtail Live. So if the Wagtail Live URLs are handled there. So here, just to check, yes, we are importing the URLs and we are adding them here like this. So yes, now that we have set up our publisher, we are all set. That's all we need to do. We now need to configure an input source and its corresponding receiver. So yes. Yeah, so you can choose from Slack. Currently, Wagtail Lab only propose Slack and Telegram receivers. So it's possible to add WhatsApp receivers or Facebook receivers or any other messaging app that that exposes an API and can send us update when something happens. We can use that messaging app as an input source. But for the scope of the project, currently we are only providing these two input sources. So for this one, I will set up the Slack. I have done, yes, so the Slack Telegram receiver. So yes, the first thing we will need is to create a Telegram bot. So we'll go in, if I click here, so you can see, yes, so bots are very useful things that we can use in Telegram. They allow to have many type of interactions. So yes, we will create a bot, and once we create the bot, we will have a notarization token that will be generated. So if I go in, I will open it here. Yes. So here, yes, I have the tokens. this is just for testing. I will remove the bots, no problem if you see the, the token. So then the next thing we will want to do is to add that the token in our settings, like to specify it like this: Telegram bot token equals the bot token that we just had. So here in my settings, we can see that I'm saving the bot token as a environment variable. So here we have Telegram bot token equals this thing. So yes, now that we want to receive events from Telegram when a message is posted or when a message is posted. So in order to do so, we need to hook a webhook URL that we will give to Telegram, and they will use it to send us post requests whenever an event we specified occurs. So yes, in development phase, because most messaging app will require a URL which HTTPS to So in when you in the development phase, we can use ngrok so to have a you know, a URL with HTTPS. So I will here start ngrok, and I will grab here this URL. We start with HTTPS. Copy this, and I will specify it as the value of the Telegram webhook URL. So I will paste it here, and I will save here. Thus. So yes, we need to allow the following in our URLs, which is already done. And now we also need to specify which receiver are we using for the Wagtail Live receiver setting. So here we see that it's the Wagtail Live that receives the Telegram and Telegram webhook receiver. So in our settings, here we have the Wagtail Live receiver, which is exactly the Telegram webhook receiver. So yes, that's all we need to receive events from Telegram. So if we run the following, so if we start our development server, just here, so I'm in the Wagtail Live PWC repository. So I can run the server now. So here, what happens? So here we can see in the documentation, it says if everything went well, the server should start without errors. So here, what has happened is that we have made a request to the Telegram API saying them, hey, this is our webhook URL. We want you to send us any new notification in this URL. So if that happens, so if we have no errors here, that means that Telegram has received our URL, and they will send us an update whenever we make some changes. So now, yes, as I mentioned earlier, the general idea is that you will post messages in a channel in a messaging app, and that channel maps to a live page. So users viewing the live page will receive updates instantly. So if I go in Telegram here. Yes, I will just start a chat with my bot. So this is a command that is provided by Wagtail Live to get the ID of the chat. So we need to have the chat ID. So we have now the ID, which is this, and we will use this to this will be the ID. This will map to a live page. So we will need this ID to configure our live page. So that was all we need to set up the Telegram webhook receiver. We are almost there. So the next step will be to create our database, create an admin user. Yes, I have already done these steps. And now I think we are good to start live logging. So now, yes, our server, yes, here also we can see that, yes, we sent a request to Telegram, and they have answered with, yes, everything is okay. So now we can run our local server, which is already running. Yes, and then what we'll do, we'll create a new page of live blog page. So I will go here. So yes, this is the Wagtail admin. So this is where you manage pages and all. So here, what we should do is here we want to add a child page, and then we will add a live blog page. This is the model that we implemented earlier in our, like the value of the Wagtail live page model. So yes, we'll fill the title, the hero image like you seen, and the hero text. Here we will put the channel ID, which is the value of the get chat ID that we did earlier in Telegram, but also in Slack and all. Each channel will have an ID. That's what we want to put here. And here is the stream of live posts. So this is what I mentioned earlier, which is a stream field. So maybe, yes, so this stream field is a, a way to have, like you can add multiple things. I can add here a live post, for example. I can add wherever I want. And this is how we structure our live post, but we have many flexibility in how we want it. So this is also a reason why maybe Wagtail was a good fit to do this. So for example, here, a live post has an ID, the ID of the message, that when it was created, when it was modified. And we also have this option to show or to hide a live post, and it has a content. So currently the content of a live post, it is a text or image or embed video. So here you can add text if you want. If you want to add image, we can add image. If you want to add an embed video, we can add embed. We can do it in any order we want. We can reorder, duplicate, and delete. So this was just a demo of how you would set up a live blog page. But here I have already set up here a live blog page. So yes, the title, I have some hero image to make it nicer, some hero text. So we may want to ensure that we have the same channel ID here and here. So yes, we have the same channel ID. So this is our live blog page. So now we will view this page in live. Oh, yes, so here is our page. So I'm using this is a little styling. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm assuming the client is on the right, and is watching our live blog, and the reporter is on the left on a channel, and they want to report some event. So what happens is that we can now say title, some content for the demo. And yes, here we see the message comes here. So we can maybe add an image. So in Telegram, yes, the ID is like you can add a yes, you can add a caption. That's how you can call it. It's cool. So I can also send this, and my Wi-Fi is not. Yep. So now that it's sent, we see it's here. The message coming here. PVC is cool. I can edit maybe this the message. PVC is cool. So I can add maybe here. Check out Wagtail Live. Yes, it appears here too. So I can also, share a YouTube link. For example, here is a talk from my mentor talking about Wagtail Live, and then I will pass it here. Yes, and here it comes. Here's the talk. So yes, that's the idea. Yeah, I hope you are getting it. You post your messages in a messaging app, and they will appear as soon as possible in the user's device. So yes, as I have shown earlier, we can edit messages, and for Slack, if you delete a message, it will also be deleted here. But here, if I, for example, if I delete this message here in here, like nothing will happen here, because Telegram, that's how Telegram works. Telegram doesn't send an update when you delete a message. So what we can do, if we want to delete this, we can go to in the admin interface here. So we will do where we are managing our page. So that's what I was mentioning earlier, that we can use input sources, but we can also use the admin interface to make changes. So here, if I do a change in the live post here, it will appear instantly here. So if I, for example, if I say that now I want to, to hide this post, not just, we just want to hide it, and I publish this page, okay. What have I hidden? Oh, okay. So I've hidden the first post, so it's already gone. So to confirm everything is okay, I will. Yes, this is the last post. Yes, which is here. Here's a talk from my mentor. This is the one we want to hide. So if I unclick the show, I click publish, yes, it's gone. So yes, as I said, yes, we can use the admin interface. So if you want, you can use this. If you want, if you prefer using messaging apps, you can use messaging apps. So here I can, delete everything and maybe just re-show this one. And yes, all other posts are gone. We only see this. So this was the demo. Yes, we were using Telegram as an input source, and we are using a long polling publisher. So you can mix any type of setting you want. You can use Slack receiver. You can use WebSocket publisher. It just depends on your needs and yes, how you want to set up and everything. So that was for the demo. I hope that you liked it. You liked our Wagtail Live demo, and yes. So now what is the future of Wagtail Live? So now we are always and will be always looking at ways to improve it. So a feature we are currently working on, and we hope to ship it soon, is to give users the ability to upload videos. So because currently, if you notice, we can only upload images and embed videos. So we want to provide users the ability to also post videos. And the desire of making Wagtail Live async capable has recently emerged in discussions. But yes, this is a complex task that we will have to think about carefully before doing anything. But that's really something. And yes, the way Wagtail Live works and how the receivers which make requests to the API, the publishers, this is, a very good fit to use asynchronous programming. But yes, mixing async and sync, and yeah. But that's something we are thinking about. And yes, we also hope to find more users, more contributors to let us know what they think of Wagtail Live and help us improve it. And yeah, so if you have any idea you'd like to share, improvement or whatever, or question to ask, you can surely get in touch in the one-to-one lately, but you can get in touch with us in the Wagtail Live channel in Slack. And if you want to try Wagtail Live in 1 minute, my mentor Kern has gracefully set up a Gitpod environment, which allows you to live blog easily. I will share the link soon. So yes, the idea is that you just click, yes, you just click open in Gitpod, and then you will log in with some pre-created credentials, and then you will be able to do some live logging. This will give you a feel of how Wagtail Live works. So yes, I think that's mostly it. I hope that you liked the presentation, and yes, thank you very much.